Terror from the Void brings new balance and new abilities for vehicles. These 4 types of vehicles are ideal for many different missions. Protecting the squad in the very early ambush, or making easier the scavenging, destroying the nest without hassle, or even capturing one Scylla, and many others. They take 3 slots. We can deploy 1 vehicle per mission, so they have to bring advantage over 3 soldiers, beside tankiness. In this mode, entering the vehicle will cost 1 AP to soldiers. We are saving resources because the ammunition is free after mission. And also, in Terror from the Void, running over critters is a possibility. So we can destroy just a Myrmidon, or a Worm, or a Fragger just running over, but watch out because some of them will explode and damage the vehicle. Also, modules and weapons are available in the bazaar. For the junker, it's all of them. For the other vehicles, part of them. They are great for scouting because we are not risking our soldiers, of course. And there is not counter to asset, so it's important to keep that in mind because without the armor, vehicles are fragile. Technician class is very important because these soldiers are enhancing capabilities and protecting the vehicles. 3 abilities are key: electric reinforcement, remote control, and amplify. Remote control will allow attacking without spending action points. That way, we can move the vehicle, repositioning, spending even the 4 AP, and from that location, we can attack. Remote control is very powerful because we can stack 2 AP attacks in the same turn, just limited to the ammunition of the vehicle and also number of AP and will of the technicians. Electric reinforcement is very important because vehicles will suffer the shredding during missions because assets, because attacks, and increasing 10 armor for every part of the vehicle will save many hit points. Amplify is a quicker way repairing the vehicle. We invest 4 will, but then every AP and will we use repairing is guaranteeing 240 hit points for the vehicle. Early game we can find in the marketplace this biomutant technician, and he's coming with the 3 key abilities plus special abilities like Breath Miss or Resurrect. Instead of spending resources, he's pouring his life every time he repairs, so decreasing the strength and the hit points. You can find the junker in the bazaar since day 1. You just need to reveal the location of this marketplace, and also you will find here the modules and the weapons gradually. The junker is a great vehicle for early game, very fast and tough, and also great combination of weapons and synergies with modules. The default weapon for the junker includes 2 weapons. We had the minigun, inflicting good damage, shredding and burst, but also we had indirect fire with the beast new gun, and it's affecting more enemies because the blast radius is reading 10, not bad, and the affecting rate is 24, so it's better than regular Odin grenades, but same damage. The minigun with a good effective range, 19, and burst can inflict a lot of damage from a safe position. And the beast new gun can inflict damage to 1 or more enemies from behind a cover without risking return fire, for example. For the junker we had to buy every module and weapon in the marketplace. Equipping a new weapon for the Junker is replacing only the secondary weapon. Minigun is fixed. In this case, with the Screamer, we are obtaining more blast but less blast radius, and the key factor is the sonic damage, 20. The Screamer can inflict up to 80 damage to every body part in the blast radius, and every enemy with a will under 20 will be dazed. The full stop is a fun weapon because we are throwing goo like one Chiron from mid-range with a good blast radius, and at the same time we are inflicting asset damage to every body part. As you can see, we are covering a good area with goo, slowing down these enemies and at the same time inflicting asset and shredding the armor in the following turn. The Gunner's Cockpit is a hull upgrade and is providing more attacks per turn, but leaving the vehicle will cost 3 action points. We are going to need one character inside the vehicle, a soldier, a civilian even, and then every attack will cost only 1 AP, so we can attack several times in the same turn, or move and attack 2-3 times. So it's very important because the minigun is a great weapon, for example. Slaughterhouse is the other hull upgrade and is adding 2 fighting hit points, we are losing 1 seat, but also is adding 10 armor to sides, front and wheel. On top of that, if this spiked armor is suffering melee or bash attack, will inflict the same damage to the attacker. Jet Booster is an essential upgrade for the Junker, increasing 50% the speed for a total of 42. That means moving farther, attacking, moving away, protecting our soldiers in ambushes and others. And the only downside is the vehicle can explode when it's destroyed, so don't move your soldiers nearby, otherwise will suffer a lot of damage. In this ambush, for example, we are protecting 2 soldiers moving away. At the same time, with this speed, we can afford attacking 1 Arthron and going behind cover. Death Proof is another engine, and I don't use this often, but it's interesting early game when we can kill easily the enemies because we are obtaining a free kill and run. Killing one enemy, in this case the Triton Ambra, will provide this kill and run, and moving 12 tiles is granting a good position because right now we can destroy a second enemy in the very center. Scarab is another vehicle that you can manufacture since the beginning. The Scarab is another fast vehicle with speed 36 and is mostly a piece of artillery, but also the high mobility is coming in handy for ambushes, for scavenging, rescue soldier and many other missions. With only 700 hit points and armor is not very high, it's better do not expose this vehicle to the enemies, better behind cover. At the same time, with 4 seats, it's great for transportation. Gemini 5 is the default weapon for the Scarab. It's a missile turret with very good effective range, 40 tiles, and blast radius 3.5, meaning we can destroy a large group of enemies. And attacks will cost 3 action points. That means we can attack only once per turn, even using remote control, and that is also valid for the other weapons. We can target any cluster of enemies, and even with the scatter increasing with distance, we can inflict a lot of damage and destroying many limbs. Scorpio 7 is a direct upgrade over Gemini with a higher effective range, larger blast radius, we are adding Pyrophase damage, and we are not shredding, but instead we are affecting a large area and inflicting more damage to body parts. Pyrophase attacks are always amazing because we are inflicting a lot of damage to body parts. Torres 2 is a heavy turret inflicting 200 damage to any threat and 450 shock damage per shot, and is a burst of 2 per attack. Of course, we are spending 3 action points. The effective range is really good, by the way. Ideally, we can use this high damage, high threat weapon against large enemies like Acherons, Chirons, Sirens, and with this high shot damage, we can daze them. Reinforced Stabilizes is an engine upgrade, and with the stability stance, we can attack adding a new projectile, increasing on top of that the accuracy. Spending 1 AP, we are entering in this stability stance. We can't move the vehicle, but we are increasing the damage because we are launching an additional missile in this case. And this stability stance applies to the other weapon, the heavy turret. Thanks to the laser SCL, this hull upgrade, we can obtain stealth for the Scarab. It's very high, 95%, and we are obtaining also this ability Vanish, like Infiltrator. So, for ambushes, for night missions, is very, very recommended. If we keep this status hidden, the enemies can't locate, can attack the vehicle or the soldiers inside, and we can check with these circles the stealth radius. If we lose this status because the enemy is too close, we can recover this hidden just using the Vanish ability. Ammunition Rats is a hull upgrade allowing to reload in mission, so it's very relevant for long missions, but the downside is we are decreasing the armor 10 points for every part. We are spending 2 AP reloading, and for the Scarab we are skipping the turn because every attack will cost 3 action points unless we use remote control. Deployment bay is ideal for the transportation of the soldiers. They travel safely inside the vehicle, and when they need it, they will pop out with 4 AP, but take into account we are spending 2 action points of the Scarab, so effectively we can't move 36 tiles. It's just 18 maximum. So when we reach this desired location with 2 remaining AP for the Scarab, we can start moving out these soldiers with 4 AP, and that's a lot because we can move 4 soldiers inside the vehicle, and we can start attacking many different enemies, inflicting a lot of damage. For the Aspida, we need the technology from the faction or from the marketplace, and it is a support vehicle, but we can improve it and make it offensive if we want it. It's not a tanky or a speed vehicle, only 700 hit points, but the armor is decent, and also we had the kinetic shield. This default ability will decrease the damage from enemies farther than 10 tiles. Leap is another default ability that will allow saving obstacles or reaching advantageous positions. The default weapon for the Aspida is Tech Arms and is coming with double functionality: paralysis against enemies and full restore for vehicles and soldiers. The cost of the attack is 2 AP. Paralysis will inflict 24 paralysis against any enemy without resistance, meaning if the paralysis is greater than the strength, the enemy is paralyzed. Full restore will cost 3 action points, but we are recovering 200 hit points, also any destroyed limb, and also we are removing bad status, like for example bleeding. Apollo laser turret is an amazing weapon, inflicting a good damage, 120, but it's a burst of 2, so 240 against enemies without armor, and the effective rate is 82, astonishing. And we are spending only 2 action points attacking, and the ammunition is plenty. Aiming system is the same as Destiny 3, the laser array from Synedrion, and we had to connect one limb on the enemy and then we attack. Themis Neural Turret is a long-range weapon focusing on paralysis. We can inflict 40 paralysis spending only 2 action points, and is guaranteed because the piercing is 60. Aiming system is the same as the other weapon, the Apollo LT, and we had to snap to enemy's limb, in this case the Acheron Husk, and inflict paralysis. Navigation Beacon is a fantastic module. It's a hard upgrade providing motion detection in range, 20 tiles, very generous, and also the other ability is Mist Repeller, 3 tile radius, so moving the Aspida will remove the mist. At the same time, in this radius, we are protecting the soldier from will loss in the mist. For missions in the mist, or even better, when we roll this Void Omen increasing a lot the mist, we had the perfect tool. Just moving will clear. Improved Chassis is a hard upgrade, increasing the number of seats, and at the same time is providing 80 hit points and 5 will to soldiers entering the vehicle and remaining the turn inside. This module might be useful when we want to protect 1 or 2 soldiers, at the same time recover will if this is low. Hermes X1 is an engine and is multiplying action points because every ally, all of them, within 5 tiles will recover 2 action points, so it's a massive onslaught. Our soldiers can perform different action attacks in the turn, and then spending 2 action points of the Aspida. If these soldiers are in range, all of them will recover 2 action points and they can perform even more actions. Cleric X2 is a great support module, it's an engine, and with double ability. Cure Cloud will remove bad statuses and restore armor. Restore 10 armor for every soldiers, in both cases for soldiers within 10 tiles. Using this Cure Cloud, spending only 1 action point, we are removing this bleeding or this viral, and in the case of the Restore Armor, we are increasing 10 armor for every body part. The Armadillo is a real tank with a lot of armor and hit points, ready for the front lines. In order to manufacture, we need this New Jericho tech. The Armadillo is not a fast vehicle, but with 4 seats is good for transportation and protecting our soldiers with so many hit points and high armor. The Armadillo is coming with the Ghost Turret and is inflicting a good amount of damage, but the most important part is the shredding, is 5 per projectile. That means 40 per attack and only spending 2 action points. With this weapon we can face even larger enemies like this Chiron, and with this burst and shredding, the body part is naked after the attack. But there is more. This formidable weapon can return fire. And making this vehicle even more interesting, we had reload ability. We can spend 2 action points and obtain 4 new attacks until we reload again. Purgatory GL is a long-range weapon. It's a grenade launcher with a maximum of 8 grenades, but we can choose between 2 types: incendiary and concussion grenades. We are spending 2 action points launching grenades, but the attack is very strong because the blast 20 is ready a bit 5, but fire is 40. So enemies moving in the fire will take a lot of damage for different body parts. Switching grenades will cost 1 action point, and with this concussion grenade we can daze enemies if their will is lower than 30. That is very common. Mephistopheles is a flamethrower with affecting range of 12. We are attacking close range and inflicting direct damage 80, but also adding 40 fire to every tile because the blast radius is 3. We are generating an area with fire, and the cost of the attack is cheap because it's only 1 AP. And on top of that, we are adding a secondary fire mod, the Obliterator. This costs 3 IP with 3 attacks for the mission. We aim, we set this cone, the area, spreading the fire, and adding the direct damage with the fire will destroy several limbs against enemies with low armor. The secondary weapon, the Obliterator with shred 5 per projectiles and blast 80 will shred a lot, but is not inflicting high damage. Reinforced plating is the Halad grade, adding hit points, 250 global, but also 50 hit points for front, sides and top. This is my favorite combination because the Armadillo is a real tank, but adding even more hit points, protecting several parts of the vehicle, we are creating a terrific tool that will stand against several enemies and can destroy them. Light alloy plating is the Halad grade, allowing the fast entry, and this is zero cost entering the vehicle, so recovering the vanilla behavior. We call this tactic the clown car because we move these soldiers inside the vehicle, and when we decide, these soldiers will pop out, will start performing actions, attacking, spending every action point, and then they return safely inside the vehicle, and they keep doing this. White Turbo is the engine providing goo immunity and reinforced suspension, granting 10 armor and 100 hit points to every wheel, but we are losing 4 speed. If we don't need a fast vehicle, we can take this penalty for speed if we are going to control just one area, and then we are ignoring the goo, in this case from the Acheron. If we had a need for speed, we had this mode. The gas tanks, this engine, is increasing the speed 6. We are losing 1 seat, so total of 3 soldiers can travel inside the vehicle, and we had the other downside because the blast damage is double. So watch out against enemies throwing bombs or launching grenades or rockets. Speed is coming in handy for large maps, and we can transport 3 soldiers if we want it, but the most important thing is we can protect the vehicle or move farther in the same turn. We can obtain more vehicles in different ways. We can manufacture the Scarab, Aspida, Armadillo, or just buy more junkers in the marketplace. Exploring, we can find recover vehicle missions, and without manufacturing or buying, we can obtain a new random vehicle. In GTA mission, in the Ancient Ruins path, we had a choice, and this choice will provide a new Armadillo with a cost, reputation with New Jericho. And there is a small chance visiting Havens. Instead of the recruit soldiers, we can find vehicle recruits, Aspida, Armadillo, and if we have the resources, we can buy them.